Good afternoon. Welcome to the 415. I am RAINA Star, as always, here to help you through these uncertain times, along with my co-host, the amazing Star Bustamante. Say hello, Star.
Hello, Star.
The 415 is brought to you by the auspices of House of Black Hat Magic in beautiful Asheville, North Carolina. Desperate House Witches, brought to you care of fabulous Charlotte, North Carolina, which is brought to you care of fabulous Dorothy Morrison, who has just re-released a book. I encourage you to go get it. And of course, from the auspices of the amazing wildhunt.org. Wild Hunt, give it all your support. We need real journalism, especially now that things are more fucked up than ever. Oh, by the way, did I mention that there was swearing on this show? Yes, indeed.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
Swearing?
there is swearing. It is a sweary show, and I'm going to get very sweary today because I think there's a lesson that has not yet been learned. Anyway, the opinions expressed on the show belong to me and my co-host and are not a reflection on anyone who supports our show or any of its subsidiaries. We want to make that very, very clear from the outset, just in case we say stuff that's out of pocket, because we've been known to do that on occasion. So yes, of course, the 415 is brought to you free of charge. Um, and we will be expressing our opinions. There is a lot of swearing today, more than ever. Um, there was a school shooting yesterday in Dallas, Texas, and we just had one only mere hours ago, apparently. So this is once again another piece of thing that becomes normal, although it shouldn't be. And as one of the fathers from a previous school shooting pointed out, the current administration has done everything possible to dismantle any of the good that was done during the Obama years to put a stop to school shootings or at least slow them down by putting regulations on people getting guns. So you can thank the current administration for the accelerated process of bad people being able to shoot up schools once again. Because 2 days, that's here we go. I can't say I'm surprised. I'm disappointed, of course, because this was never supposed to become a normal thing. Um, it's sickening. I can't even imagine. This was not a world I was a part of when my children were small. Um, and I guess I just lucked out once again by missing that. But it's a terrible thing. Again, there was a school shooting yesterday, another one today. High schools, both of them. Uh, I don't know how many people were injured yesterday. Star, I'm sorry, I don't have those stats. I don't know if there were any fatalities. I know currently on today's, there was one fatality so far. I know the shooter was shot. I do not know their status. And there were 6 injuries so far. Details are continuing to come in, and the actual briefing is supposed to be at 4:30 this afternoon. We will still be on the air when that takes place. So
Uh,
that's all I
so
got.
the shooting in Dallas yesterday was at a high school, and uh, it looks like from what I'm seeing here that there were five, 4 victims that were shot, and a fifth was injured running from the gunfire. Um, it looks like none of them were life threatening. Well, no, it says ranged from non threatening, life threatening to serious injuries.
Mhm.
So, let me see if I can get some information on this most recent shooting.
And while you do
Uh,
that, I'm just gonna fucking have a meltdown. So,
Well,
well,
well, hey, before you start, but hey, at least the stock market's doing great. Oh, no, wait, no, it's not.
no, it's not.
Sorry. It's
Yeah,
a joke. That was a
it
joke, a
was.
bad
It was
joke.
a
But
hideous joke because yesterday for 5 minutes it did do better, and then it proceeded to come down once again. So, you know, I have to say, while you're looking up the statistics for the Dallas shooting, um, once again, I would like to thank my fucking friends on the left that couldn't vote for Hillary in 2016, that I still continue to blame this bullshit at your feet. Um, you could have had, we could have avoided a lot of this bullshit if you had just gotten out of your fucking selfish feelings and stopped being a me monkey about Bernie or bust. Um, Sorry you didn't get what you wanted. I can't even throw this on Republicans. Republicans at least do what they say they're going to do when they're stupid. Y'all are just a fucking pack of traitors and have single handedly given this country over to this fucking monster to destroy it. So, once again, to my confused liberal friends who thought that their feelings were more important than the republic. Fuck you one more time, and I continue to fuck you um, until the end of time. Because quite frankly, 401ks being wiped out, people being swept up off the street, and being sent illegally to other countries, which we are going to take a nice deep fucking dive into for this episode. I think there's plenty to discuss about how the Constitution is now being used as a sheet of toilet paper for this administration on this and so many other important items that I can't even believe it. Even things that Republicans swore to me wouldn't happen that are now happening. And everyone said we were acting like our hair was on fire and we were so hyperbolic about everything that we thought was going to happen and all the things that we warned about, how women's rights were going to be stripped away, how trans rights were going to be stripped away, how gay rights were going to be threatened and stripped away. It's fucking happening. It is all fucking occurring. And the discussion of deporting American citizens, which, oh, Raina, you're such a big baby. It's never going to happen. Really? Really? Tell me again how it's not going to fucking happen, and how no one's going to, no one's going to let him do this. That there's guardrails, that there's three branches of government, and how I told you that he was going to strip them away one piece at a time, and you told me I was crazy. Really? Don't look so fucking crazy now, do I? I'm sorry, but we warned you. We did warn you. And look where we are now. Not even a full 3 months into this fucking administration. And look at where we are. And the press is being threatened, and American citizens are being threatened, and everyone's livelihood is being threatened, and your jobs are being threatened every fucking day. And every day he piles on something else to scare you, to distract you. And guess what? It's starting to fucking work. Lo and behold. Amazing, isn't it? Star, pull me off this fucking soapbox before I fall off of it.
Okay, well, I'm not going to say you're wrong. Uh,
I really wish you would. I wish you could.
well, I wish I could too, but I mean, the reality is that I mean, things are not looking good. um, first, I want to offer some details on the shooting.
Thank you.
At least six people were injured today at Florida State University in Tallahassee. One of them critically so. Apparently, FSU sent out a text message around noon warning of an active shooter near the student union. Um, Apparently, the police department has someone in custody, and they have not identified any of the people that have been wounded. but at least six at least six people wounded, one in critical condition, and the rest are in serious condition. Um, but so far, and this is from I'm pulling my information from the Tallahassee Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
So it's local sources. They're going to have this information. They're going to have better information usually first.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Apparently, like about an hour ago, FSU sent out an alert saying uh, that the threat had been neutralized. Um,
Yeah, he was the shooter was shot. Not not
ok-
not not dead, but shot, neutralized, as
okay,
in out of commission. Yeah.
so but they were still telling people to avoid the various locations because they were considered. I mean, and it's like the student union,
Yes.
um, a bunch of different buildings. So, and I'm sure we'll get more details.
Yep.
But uh, I mean,
And
one of the other things I would like to point out is Fred Gutenberg, whose daughter
yes.
Jamie was murdered
Mm-hmm.
in the Parkland shooting.
Yep.
He pointed out in a post that he made on Blue Sky that some of Jamie's classmates who
Yeah.
were at Parkland, guess where some of those kids ended up going to college? Florida
Yep.
State
Yep.
University. So they're some of
They have
these kids,
experience.
yeah, some of these kids, this will be their second uh, major school shooting in
Mm-hmm.
just a pretty short amount of time. It's pretty awful, and to have two. I mean, Dallas. That shooting was not nearly as bad. If you can say any shooting is not bad, but at least nobody was killed and nobody was, critically injured. But uh, then to have this a day later, uh, I mean, I think we're probably just going to be seeing more of this. I would like to also point out that this is the sixth mass shooting just in the state of Florida for 2025. Uh, I mean, this is just. Uh, I mean, it's horrible. I can't imagine how the students who survived Parkland and went on to college and then have to be subjected to another situation like this. Uh, it's just pretty. I can't even. I got nothing other
It,
than we have we have all got to start pushing back on all of this. And by the way, there are mass rallies and protests planned again for this Saturday. I would strongly urge everyone who can manage it to go look it up online. Indivisible has they have a list of places,
yep.
of cities and places and times.
I'm
You got to
just
go. I mean, we all need to be prioritizing pushing back while we still can, because I think that it's only going to get worse. Um,
they are actively looking for ways to stop the people from making their voices heard. Actively.
Absolutely,
Actively
absolutely,
looking to make it illegal. And what they have in dictatorships is a crushing of the voice of the people. That is their job. You crush dissent, you take over, you frighten the people into silence, and then you get your way. And that is how every dictator does it. And that is what is happening. You silence journalism, you silence the people, and you consolidate the power, which is why all these agencies are having massive firings because that is how you consolidate power. Fewer people means you have fewer dissenting voices. That's it. If you stack the deck with cronies, no one is going to come against you. It's really quite fucking simple, and it's being done one step at a time before our eyes every fucking day. And this is because Trump convinced everyone to go ahead and make him president again. And again, I can't even be mad at the Republicans. We knew what they were going to do. They never disappoint. But liberals and the people who voted for him in larger majorities than they did in 2016, once again, let me state the obvious. You voted for someone that you either knew was a liar, stupid, or you voted for these policies, more stupid.
Mhm.
Take your
Yeah.
pick. Take your fucking
Well,
pick.
so I will say that we are seeing, you know, we are seeing people pushing back, and I think that this is a good thing. Um, One little bright spot of sunshine is that Harvard has basically, you know, told the Trump administration to fuck right off, and they are in court. They're fighting them in court, and they have been joined by Stafford and Yale. So,
Yay!
this
Education.
is good. But I mean, we are all going to have to push back and be and mean it. I mean, uh,
Can I tell you what terrified the hell out of me? Can I just tell you? When law firms buckled, when law firms started folding and making deals, that really scared me because the law is the law. When you have people in the law folded, I mean, who's going to defend you if you have lawyers cutting deals with this administration? And I'm not talking about just fly by nights. I'm talking about these are like the Supreme Court. You look up to the Supreme Court, you expect them to be. The president isn't the law of the land. The Supreme Court technically is the law of the land, or at least that's what I always thought it was. And you see these institutions that we used to hold so dear as being the thing that kept our country together, as opposed to a handshake and popsicle sticks. And now these norms, these things that we believed in, are just so pliable and so bendable and so wavering like the wind. It scares me that I'm not sure if I broke a law accidentally that I would get due process, that I would get a fair trial, um, all based on how I vote. Because I believe that no matter what would ever happen to me, how I vote would be a pretty important part of how a jury would define my actions. I mean,
well, you're not
that's
wrong.
this is the
You're
kind of world I live in now, and that terrifies me. That justice means nothing anymore.
okay. So, I mean, I don't think that you're. Let's talk a little bit about what has been going on um, with not only um, what's his name that they're
Uh,
trying to get out of.
Garcia, Kilmar
Yeah,
Abrego Garcia.
right. So he was under basically an order of protection that he could not be deported,
hmm
and then the administration said that they made an administrative error, and now that they can't, and he was, and they deported him by accident, but they can't get him back. We talked on the last show about, a number of the people, like, well, at that time, I don't think we even knew exactly. Well, we still don't know everybody who was sent to El Salvador
Right.
to Seacoast. Um, but we do know that he's there. We know that the gay barber is
Mm-hmm.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there are a few others, but there are many, many more. We don't have a list of names.
Right.
Um, and none of them, I mean, none of these people were tried. Okay.
Right.
Um, and I've seen people online saying, well, they were criminals, it's fine. We don't want criminals in our country. And first of all, if they're in our country, they are due the same rights as citizens. Due
Yes.
process applies to everyone. It doesn't matter whether you're a citizen or not. If you're on American soil and you commit a crime,
Mm-hmm.
or are, or suspected of committing a crime, and you get arrested, then due process is applied, which
Mm-hmm.
means that you get to face your accuser, and you're entitled to a jury of your peers if there's going to be a jury trial, and you go through the whole process.
Right.
That's not what happened here. And it doesn't matter whether they are criminals or not, or we think they are criminals, or they're accused of being criminals.
Mm-hmm.
It does not matter. Even criminals have
Mm-hmm.
rights, and they are entitled to due process, and, court, and attorneys, and possibly a jury trial,
Mm-hmm.
depending on the crime.
And
What is not
there's
Go
one
ahead.
thing there's one thing I want to bring up about this case, because I know there's a lot of people who have this piece of information and some people may not. Apparently, a number of years ago, the gentleman in question had a case brought against him. It was a domestic violence case. He and his wife got into an altercation. He sought counseling for the issue. They resolved the issue between he and his wife. He took the steps necessary to rebuild the relationship and have a happy home. So before people start jumping on the, oh, he was an abuser situation, if that is your metric for getting people out of this country, I got 60 names for you between the years of 1978 and 1996 that I can throw for you on the Eastern Seaboard that we can deport. And I'm sure many other women do as well. So before we start bringing that shit in, let me just remind you that that is not the metric. And I will advise you again that the people that I had to deal with didn't think they even had a fucking problem. Okay? So let's not go there. At least this guy tried to clean his shit up and got it together with his wife. So I don't want to hear about the whole, well, he's a horrible person. No, some people can reform. So let's just get that shit out of the way. Thank you. Next. Go ahead, Star.
Well, okay. Even so, even if
Right.
you're a horrible person, it does
Yes.
not matter what kind of person you are. It does not matter whether you have committed a crime or not committed a crime. If you're accused of a crime,
Mm-hmm.
you are entitled to the entire legal process,
Correct.
whatever that may be, whether it's a bench trial, a jury trial, a hearing before a judge. It does not matter.
Correct.
It does not matter. You could be the most awful person on the face of the planet. You're still entitled. Those rights still apply.
In America.
And
Yes.
for now, anyway.
Yeah.
Um, but so I think people are not, like, they're not grasping the gravity of this. that if you can just say, well, you know, these are horrible people, so we're going to deport them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Anybody that's cheering for that is an idiot. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
because just this week, what we have heard come out of Trump's nasty mouth is that the next step is that he intends to start on homegrowns. What he's talking about are U.S. citizens.
Correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Born here,
So,
honey. Born here. That means, guess what? All bets are off. If you were born here, he is going to, if you and you don't agree with him, he is going to look for a way to have you taken from this country and put you into one of these nice little prisons in El Salvador or somewhere else. So it no longer matters that you were born here. Being born here is no longer the barometer by which you get to stay. That means everyone. No one is
yeah.
safe. No one. For any reason. You can't claim your citizenship as your protection any longer. And we told you back in 2016 and 15. Go back and listen to the shows that we were in danger of this. We told you then, 10 years ago. You were warned. Go back and listen to the old shows. Just saying. Listen to my old
So,
screaming podcasts where I told you that it could happen. Yeah, here it is. So
well,
due process. So literally, and we just saw a student get taken up off the street and whisked away, and we're seeing people, and not all of it is being reported from what I understand. We're it's coming in dribs and drabs that all of a sudden people who have immigration attorneys, all of a sudden people are just poof, here one minute and not there the next. What the
yep.
actual fuck is happening?
Well, and in some cases, it's really so once somebody is in the system, it can be almost impossible to figure out what like they won't tell you like where they are or even what's happening. Um, Someone that I know who is a defense attorney
Mm-hmm.
had a client that was in the jail system who was an immigrant, and that person was just gone. They're just disappeared. They don't know. Nobody knows where he went or who took him or anything. He's just gone. Uh, and you can, if you talk to people that that are familiar with how all this works, they will just tell you that it can be incredibly difficult to get any information once somebody has been put into the ice. When ice has taken them, good luck, because it can be almost impossible to find out anything. Like where they are, what they were charged with. But I mean, I saw a report this morning. Forgive me because I can't remember exactly. There's so much news happening all the time. I am having a hard time keeping up. Like I can't. My bookmarks have bookmarks, and I can't. I simply can't keep up. And I think that this also is by design,
Sure.
because if you're overwhelmed, eventually you're just going to shut down. And I think that is the goal here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but one of the reports I saw this morning was that, and this happened in I want to say it was in Brooklyn,
Mm-hmm.
that teenage kid left his house, uh, stepped outside and was snatched by ICE, and there were two other kids with this kid. They were also taken. One of the ICE officers said, this is not the kid," and the response was, "Doesn't matter, take him anyway." So
That's
they knew that they probably had the wrong person. Excuse me.
That's
And
a,
they
that's
just,
actually Star. That's something that happened recently. It wasn't yesterday specifically, but I posted that yesterday. It's something that has happened recently. I'm familiar with that story a very little bit, but it was in conjunction with the Abrego Garcia story. So it's just that these things are now coming out. And again, it's coming out in dribs and drabs, and we're finding out more and more that people are just literally being disappeared.
yeah. I mean, they are absolutely they're just seemingly pulling people at random. But
Yeah.
also, you know, I think if you're wondering why they wanted access to so many databases,
Hmm.
um, did you see the article about the whistleblower on Dodgy?
No.
Um, this is something else because this guy was. Let me pull up the story. Oh, he worked for the National Labor Relations Board,
Oh, this will be
and
good.
yeah, um, and he became concerned because I'm gonna just distill this down to the basics.
Yeah.
But so, like, they basically forced their way in, um, said, we have to have um, admin level control, which meant that they could not only, this wasn't view only, this was them being able to make changes within the system. And he became really concerned because it was granting them access to everything. So this means that you know, all of the court cases, all of the
Hmm.
information that the National Labor Relations Board has in preparing for court cases.
Hmm.
Sometimes it includes, there may be uh, information on there's information on unions, ongoing legal cases, even corporate secrets. Okay,
Wow.
all of that would be contained within their um,
In their
yeah.
clutches. Hmm.
So I think NPR broke the story, maybe. Uh, but I mean, like, what the guy that was the whistleblower said that they set up what looked like a back door, and
Hmm.
also there were all of these records that were either copied uh, and exported, or maybe just exported.
Hmm.
Um, and the way he was able to do that was because uh, he went back and looked uh, at traffic and the activity, which all of this is way above my pay grade because I am not an IT person.
Right.
Um, but
But we get the gist,
they
though. I
don't
mean,
they don't know what they took. They also turned off any all of the safeguards that are in place to prevent all of the tracking.
right.
Excuse me.
Hmm.
Um, so, I mean, and he provided like screenshots of traffic, and But yeah, it's pretty horrifying. Uh, but if you were looking, if you start thinking about this from a point of that they're looking to incarcerate anybody that they don't like
Hmm.
and anybody that might disagree with them, then it makes perfect sense that they're going to want access to all of this, uh, Social Security. That is, the IRS. Because guess what? Anybody that is in this country, um, excuse me, I think I swallowed a bug. Um, Anybody who's in this country as as an international student, um, one thing, or of course, then there was the story about uh, immigrants and how even if they're here, even if they're not citizens, they still pay taxes. This is why they wanted access to that. But also, it's certainly a way to find out information on people that they might perceive as dissenters. Um, and if they can disappear Garcia, and they can take and the like the Tufts University, uh, you know, doctoral student, uh, I mean, they're and they've said we are, they've basically said we're the thought police.
Hmm.
If we don't like what you say or what you're thinking, we're going to deport you. So, I mean, they'll get around to us eventually, I'm sure, but they got a lot of people to go through, and plus, I'm a little slippery, so we'll see. But so all of this makes sense now as to why they wanted access to all of these systems, and why they've gone in like a bull in a china shop, uh, undermining undermining all of these institutions, but also creating an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty, uh, all of that. But to circle back to the due process issue, now Boasberg has said that he intends to hold them in criminal contempt of court. Now, whether or not the Supreme Court will allow that to happen, we'll see. I think it's unlikely, but stranger things have happened. What do you think? You think the Supreme Court is going to say no?
Okay, here's my weird ass theory. I think Amy Coney Barrett is sick of Donald Trump's shit. I think she's tired of being treated like she doesn't matter. I think she is going to reach into her bucket of faith, whatever that means for her, and she will vote against Trump.
Okay, I can see that actually. Um,
I don't know about John Roberts because I think John Roberts has a lot to be afraid of as far as his legacy goes. If he is seen as being too pally with Trump, like he did at the address, where Trump said, I won't forget it, you know, thank you, I won't forget it. It made a lot of eyebrows go up and a lot of people question what was it that Trump was being so grateful for and what does that actually mean for the future. Um, I think his reputation means more to him than Trump. So hopefully he will reach into his bag of faith and hopefully it will mean something to him. See, just because I'm not Christian doesn't mean that I don't believe faith has meaning, obviously. I'm very religious and I'm pagan. Um, and I think people forget that. So
well,
whatever the faith is that they have and whatever their belief system, I hope that their God is well informed to inform them of the difference between right and wrong. Some people need religion to know that difference. I don't believe that that is necessarily the truest thing for all people, but for some people, that is their defining moment between right and wrong. I don't think you should need gods to know the difference, but if you do, so be it.
Yeah.
So I'm
I
hoping that
I
guides
I
them.
can I can definitely see that. Um, I
Mhm.
also think that um, Gorsuch is kind of a wild card as well.
True.
Um, you never quite know where he's going to land on anything. Uh, and so, I mean, I think that that all kind of puts us in a really, as if things couldn't get any weirder. Uh,
Yeah, well, I
it
don't
it
know.
puts us it puts us in a, yeah. Well, I know I keep saying that, and then
Some
this
shit
administration.
happens.
Yeah, well, then this administration is like, hold my beer, you know.
Hold my shoes, Ethel, and my beer.
Yeah. Uh, so, I mean, even the legal experts that I follow and listen to, like, they're like, we got nothing. Basically, they're like, this could go any number of ways. So, it's just almost impossible to predict what may or may not happen or what direction the court decides to roll. Um, I, there was a time when I would have said, I would have been so certain about what uh, Roberts
Yeah,
would
I
do.
remember. I remember those days. I remember thinking I knew that he was an upstanding guy. I remember thinking that he would always side on right because we thought he was a whore for the law. We thought that was
Well,
his thing.
yeah. I mean, I don't know that I would ever have said that he was,
No, well, I did.
uh, all that upstanding, but his love of the law and
Yeah,
of his, protecting his legacy, I kind of thought that would really, be the thing, right?
his motivation, of course, of course, he
But
seemed to be that kind of person.
that is not what we have seen, and yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, honestly, I'm really not. Uh, I don't think you can predict anything of
But
what might happen with this court because I do think that at this point, uh, Coney Barrett definitely has the potential to be a real wild card.
and that
Uh,
surprised me, to be honest. I didn't think she would veer from Trump's side, but it proves to me that if you if he gets on your bad side, you can still assert some pressure, which kind of made me giggle. Um, so it is possible to work against him, and when you're a Supreme Court judge, that still carries weight. So that does give me hope, obviously. Um, as far as Roberts goes, I feel like he is learning that the Supreme Court is losing respect. I'm sure he is concerned about the amount of respect that the court has lost so far. Uh, if you have rendered the Supreme Court completely ineffective and with no respect, it might as well not be there, and therefore his time on it would be null and void. I don't think he wants to go down that path. I would hope that he cares more about his legacy than that. So he would need to do something to redeem it. These are steps that he would need to take to do just that. So we will see in the upcoming weeks, as a matter of fact, because once again, things are going to be brought back in front of the Supreme Court, um, that have been brought before lower courts, and we are going to get to see what actually happens. And does the judicial branch have any sway anymore? Or is this, in fact, a full on 100% dictatorship? Are we going to let him impeach judges, as he has suggested, and Roberts has bristled at, which he should, because if you're going to start impeaching judges, why not a Supreme Court judge? It's all on the table. Everything is right now on the table. Everyone's life, liberty, and happiness is on the table. And it doesn't just mean in this country. This fucking little goat has changed the entire world in less than 90 days. Could you imagine having that kind of power, that you have changed the economics of the globe by yourself in less than 90 days? How the world views everything: trade, the United States, partnerships, relationships of all kinds. This is what one person can do to us in such a short amount of time. And a term is 4 years, people. Do you remember? 4 years of this. We're not even in 4 months yet. And we have 4 years of this shit to go. What do you think's going to happen? Is he going to make it? Is there going to be a third term? And I don't want to hear, oh, it'll never happen. Anything can happen. Anything is possible right now. I'm just saying. Don't poo
Well,
poo. Don't poo poo. Because everything that everybody poo pooed me with before has started happening. The economic crash, the stock market. Let me tell you what, that has gone up and down more times than I won't say it. Never mind. I won't even touch
well,
it.
okay. So I'm going to interject some a little bit of balance here on all of
Okay.
this.
Well, before you do, let me get my commercial in.
All right.
Wildhunt.org. Please give it all your support. Wildhunt.org. It needs your support. It deserves your support. Real journalism by real journalists. You know that the news is not balanced. And neither is your Auntie Raina. But seriously, surely not. I have seen the error of my ways in the past. I have seen the error of the ways of my friends, a lot of them. I am concerned. I am saddened. I am very frustrated. I'm so frustrated that you know it. The goat has screamed. So please, please, don't spend your money on expensive coffee. Make that good coffee at home and give that money instead to Wild Hunt. Give it all your support. It's a pagan paper of record, wildhunt.org. Thank you so much. Go on, Star.
All right. So everything's terrible.
But
I think we can all agree on that.
we're
I
still
mean,
alive and there's still hope.
well, there's always hope. That's why that was the last thing in Pandora's box, and they didn't let it out because it's the most terrible thing in the box. Hope. Um, I digress. Um, so I think it is really easy to just feel completely disempowered, which is the point. Okay. The point is to make people feel like there's nothing that they can do. And, you know, make us all just feel terrible and less, like feeling like we can't fight back, but we can fight back. And if you think it doesn't matter, um here's just a few things that have happened since this all of this shit began. um so like taken down Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad and taken down a slew of web pages. Guess what? People pushed back on that. Those pages were restored. Um, and you say, well, that's a little bitty thing. How does that even, like we're talking about big things. We're talking about, you know, everything matters. Every
It does.
tiny, you know, talk to somebody who fought in a war and like, and especially, if you can find, well, World War II veterans are, they're literally a dying breed. You may have a hard time coming up with any of those folks, but you can go to the library while we still have libraries and do a little reading on the strategies of World War II, and every fucking inch matters. Okay, even if it's a small, tiny thing. Even if you just make your 5 calls, which I'm just going to say, 5calls.org, that's numeral 5, CALLS.org. ResistBot is another. They send out all the time. You can, for free. You sign on to one of their petitions or actions, and they will email it for free. You can donate money, and they will even sometimes they fucking hand deliver them. To your Congress critter or your senator. Um, all of this matters. And in particular, if you are a Republican who is now disenchanted with how things are going, it's even more important that you call your goddamn representatives. Call your congressperson, call your senators. Hang on 1 second.
These bitches need to hear from y'all. They need to hear from y'all. We know that there's more good people out there than bad people. We know that most of the Republicans who are frustrated are people that thought that Trump was going to make their lives better, but instead, y'all are getting the wrong end of the deal, and you actually agree with us. Because let's face it, who people are fucking, you don't actually care. Your relationship with your maker is up to you and them, not anybody else. You don't really care who's fucking who. It's not in your life. It don't matter. You care about taking care of your family and taking care of yourselves. And I don't blame you. But this guy is not helping you with any of that shit. He is not making your life easier. The cost of eggs has not gone down. The cost of living has not gone down. And anything you need to buy, the same thing that cost $600 a year and a half ago is now 2,000. My husband found that out today, getting something repaired on what? His car. So guess what? This guy is not keeping his promises to his voters, his supporters, or the people that he swore to take care of. So you owe him nothing. You owe him no allegiance. We may not agree on everything, but we can agree that the guy is fucking up the country. Him and his dodgy and his fucking gang of stupidity have not fixed anything. Correct?
Agreed. Agreed.
Okay. Okay.
Agreed. Well, but and I'm telling you, like, okay, so there, I think it was yesterday that a new poll. It was either yesterday or the day before. Um, Let me just see if I can find that. But I mean, like, Trump now has the worst uh, uh, approval rating of any president in modern history. He's minus 22 points, and he is tanking with independents. Like, in particular, um, I mean, it's just like it's some mad shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Um.
Check his number with seniors.
Oh
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. Um.
he
But
was a
I mean, it's.
shitter.
I mean, we. I think we are finally crossing the Rubicon here when it comes to I mean, it'll be interesting to see how many people turn out for these protests. There are a bunch of different ones. I do want to mention this real quick. Um, there is the No Kings protests, uh, which are happening pretty much everywhere, and I somehow got sent this database of all of the protests
Oh,
uh, in every state.
oh.
It was like a Google Doc that somebody sent me, and it's some crazy shit. I can't even tell you. I mean, like it's there are so many pages.
Uh-huh.
Like it has over 850 individual events. 850. And now some of these are just um, also extends to like the 25th, but most of them are this weekend or on the 19th. Um, there's some more hands offs, some no kings. Um, what are some of the other big ones? Refuse fascism is another big one. Um, I mean, this is just a massive list of protests.
That
Um,
sounds like good information.
yeah, but if you go to
Yeah.
indivisible.org,
Yes.
you can find and sign up with their website, and you can all the tests. There's still Tesla takedowns going on, by the way, where
Oh,
they're
Lordy.
peacefully protesting
Yeah.
uh, in front of Tesla, which I mean their stock is in the toilet as well. um, but if you go to indivisible.org, you sign up, you can find every action, join your local chapter, and you will find every event that is happening anywhere near you. I can't tell you how important this is. I don't care what anybody says. If you have somebody who's telling you, well, that's really great, but it doesn't change anything, it does change something. Bernie Sanders and uh, AOC have been making the fucking rounds. They were at Coachella. When at
Yep.
Coachella last
Yep.
weekend,
Yep.
35,000 people came to hear Bernie and AOC.
Yep.
35,000 people. Um, that's a lot. And these things have been happening. They've been on a friggin' cross country run, and they're doing events all over the place, and in a lot of places, very red areas, and they are seeing a tremendous amount of turnout. So if you think it doesn't matter, you're wrong. If somebody's telling you that it doesn't matter, tell them to fuck right off. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep calling. Bug the shit out of your representatives. They have to take your call. Somebody has to take your call. They have to answer the phone. They have to have a person who will take down whatever it is that you say. You don't have to be a dick. You can just say, "Hey, I'm a representative in this district."
Just
You're yeah.
I
Oh,
just want to give an update on FSU. Two are dead. The 20-year-old suspect is the son of a local sheriff. So that's the update on that.
oh
Very
boy.
sad. Very sad. There's going to be a lot more on that. So we're going to wrap with that. But yeah, stay vigilant. Keep listening. Holy crap. Yeah. So that is the news from us pagans for this week. uh, Fight the power. Show up for the protests. Keep doing your magical works. Please keep doing all of the things, but take breaks, rest. It's a heavy one.
Yep.
It is a heavy
It's a
one.
lot. It's a lot, and I wish I could say it's going to get better, but I don't think it's going to get better anytime soon. And we have to continue to fight for what we believe in. And we do that whether it's by, signing a petition, signing an action, participating in a protest, emailing, calling, writing to your representatives, and tell them how unhappy you are and how concerned you are. All of
Yeah,
it. Do it.
absolutely. And do your candle magic too. I mean, don't
Uh,
forget you're still witches, and do your magical stuff as well. We often neglect to remind folks of using those items as well. We are still pagan, and we still, while we're reporting the news, we also have magical tools at our disposal. You know, so
100%.
stay strong in that. Stay, and I'm not saying go all 100% woo woo, because there's practical aspects to being just a person on the face of the earth while you're getting your bills paid and shit done. Um, but the things we believe are the things that keep us going, as well as everything else. And it's important that we keep the mystic fires alive too, in addition to being aware of what's happening in the world. So anyway, all right. On
Right?
that note, I am going to say, whoo, heavy duty shit. Don't get super emotionally involved with what's going on. Try to be as aware and detached at the same time as possible. Otherwise, this kind of thing can eat you alive. So yeah, be aware, but don't you take breaks. Take lots of breaks. Take self care. Do all the good things for yourself so that you can be refreshed and fight these fights, because these fights are not going to happen on their own. All right, everybody. Say good night, Star.
Good night, Star.
Night, Star. All right, guys. I'll be back with Danielle Dolsky next week.